Okay, so I will say first some words to me, and then we will jump into it. So I'm Random Like You. This is my artist name, and I'm mainly media artist, which means that I use all fields of media into my art. And the last 6 years, I used a lot of AI stuff. Therefore, I can tell you a lot of about my experience with this field, which changed over the last 6 years a lot. Mainly, my focus is even on 3D rendering, not just AI. I do public installations. I love projection mapping. I'm all about colors, and this is the thing what I can say about me. So I'm a media artist who really use all tools which are there to create some art. Um, in the last years, I also made AI-related stuff in the field of design. So I can speak really from hands-on how certain devices or tools help me to make things sometimes faster or even better, or some things which were maybe never accessible without little parts of AI. And we just start right into it. And the first thing that I will give you is a link to a Google Drive folder. And you will find here already, I hope, some useful stuff. There is a prompt engineering guide in German and in English, which is, I think, very helpful to talk better to the machine, because I think this is the most important part, prompt engineering. If you want to talk or use AI, then it's maybe the best thing to learn how to use the AI very good and how to talk with AI. And currently we do that mainly with text. So a prompt engineering guide could help a lot. So I will share it very fast to you. So you already have it there. I will put it again in our chat. So you will find also other useful stuff and also the link tree of today already in it. So if you want to sneak in, feel free. We will start with, I think, the most common AI tool that we hear a lot about, which is ChatGPT from OpenAI. I think it is already a game changer in nearly every field of being, because it is so useful for everyone who is using it. And just to give you a very fast information, which just appeared yesterday. So OpenAI introduced a very useful feature, which is a style transfer. And just a style transfer is maybe not so impressive, but knowing that your AI machine is understanding the language and your image and can work with both is pretty unique, and from my mind, from my perspective, very mind-blowing. And I will show you very fast what I'm even talking about. I put just an image from something that I took. I told them to make it in an anime vibe, and I believe it was catching it pretty good. So it was understanding the image and could reconstruct it completely. Then I put a random image from a random person. It was taking it very fast, could combine it with the first image, all in one by talking with this AI tool. Here, same, just in different style. And you maybe see, and I just click on this one, it's doing the job pretty good. And if you think about your personal work, maybe a fast sketch can be drawn like this, and then if the potential client to say yes, you can draw it physically, for example, or digital, whatever. But the way to express yourself very quick and give a very fast sketch, a brief update, is now very accessible. So this is something that ChatGPT introduced just yesterday. So it is pretty new. There is another thing that I really would like to talk about, how useful for productivity those machines can be. And to do so accordingly, I have to share you a little about ChatGPT itself, because I think some people even don't know that you have already several models, and those models can do certain things. And I just give you some examples why we even currently have different models. This is the normal standard 4, and this one can create everything pretty good, but certain things other models could do better. So currently I can't use that. I don't know why, but O1 is a model that can. Yeah, okay, I got it. I understand what's the issue. Yeah, I'm sorry. It can't generate images. So, but it can do something else better. And I will now go through this workshop like I think that you don't know this. Probably certain things that I will show today you maybe know. But since I don't know you, the fastest way is going through every cool thing very fast. So O1 has like a thinking process in between. Usually you expect that the machine is answering very fast to your question. And to give you an example how that look like, I mean, most of people probably use that. Write me a random poem about current time. So usually the process of it's reading the entire thing and spilling out one word by one word. And somehow magically it makes sense. But if you have maybe a very complex question, you would like that the machine itself could re-ask and question itself. So we call, or the AI world called that reasoning or thinking process. You saw it was just spilling out the entire thing in one. So, but if you use, for example, let's say we are using this one, O3 Mini, it is also capable for the same thing. Let's just start a new chat, write the same question. And here's now the thing. If I redo that, you maybe already see here is something happening in between. Now it's starting taking way longer, but you can not always, but mostly expect that the outcome is often better. So I don't know in this specific case where I really just try a little test to show you what the magic is behind. Here you see it was taking 12 seconds before it was putting something out. And this is very useful. There is another thing which is available here for the Plus users, so people who are paying for that. I will show you later a way how to get access to that for free, kinda. But just to know, yeah, those models are not completely for free. OpenAI makes it like this. They let you use nearly everything, but very limited. So, and even for the paid members, they do the same. And I just want to give you one random example for another very interesting feature, which can spread productivity a lot. Just give me a second to search the right chat. You will see I use ChatGPT a lot. Okay, I can't find it fast, maybe. Maybe it is also here. No. Okay, what I stopped searching now because I should have tag my own chat so I can find it better. I can't find it anymore and I can't recreate because my personal account is on a kind of limit. But I just what I was going to share you is deep research here. So I currently can't show you that in this very second. It's telling me in 3 days you can do that. Deep research is a very interesting thing, and it can save you a lot of time. So what is deep research? Deep research is you write a complex question, maybe a research topic. And what it's basically doing, it's going for 10, sometimes 15 minutes through the internet using search by itself, searching everything, it's giving you all the links and backlinks for this entire research. Sometimes it's going through 50 or 60 pages in, let's say, 10 minutes and giving you a very deep analysis or research into one thing. How to do that for free, we will go in a moment to that. But just to understand, we have really certain models. Some models are trained and made accessible for you to have a reasoning process, was changed like really a lot in using AI. Another thing that a lot of people doesn't know, if you are on the mobile version and even on here, I will not demonstrate it, you can use your voice. And if you think about an assistant or a brainstorming partner, you want to brainstorm an idea, and instead of writing for minutes and minutes long requests, because you know the conversation could be very long, you can just talk. And the great thing on that is you always get even a transcription of your own sound. So it is maybe even a useful hack to just make, let's say, notices or something. You want to write an email, yeah, you can write it, but you can also just speak it. And anyway, you will get your transcripted text in a perfect written language. So, which is, I think, a very useful hack to use ChatGPT or other language models. Use the language part. You have, by the way, also two options to do so. You can speak to the machine by your voice, but get text out. I think this is pretty useful because then it's way faster. Or you can let the machine speak, which could be nice if you are maybe, I don't know, flying an plane or something, or driving a car. Then you can let the machine speak the output. But in general, just using your own language, your own voice to get a brainstorming sesh is, I think, very useful. Because what I discovered in my artistic experience, if I want to talk to 5 scientists, yeah, I have to make Google Meets and put it into my calendar. Everything is very painful. But if I just want a little briefly information about something, yeah, I can talk to ChatGPT, of course. If it's not too deep, the answer is probably very accurate. All right, so we have different models. Um, the interesting thing is, in my last year, I did like the same thing. I did a speed run into all new AI tools, and ChatGPT was 1 year ago really the leader of the entire field. Nowadays, we have like a lot of opportunities. So nearly every competitor, and we are going to 2 competitors. Just check, let me check there's a sound.
I think we have a question. Someone.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Hi.
Apologies to interrupt you, but even I was
Oh,
trying
fine.
the ChatGPT image feature that you showed in the beginning.
Yeah.
So, and I was completely mind blown by it. And I was wondering, how does it work? Like,
Mhm,
if I put in a image with a certain style, for example, like
mhm.
even I tried the Studio Ghibli style, and if I put in like give me an image in Pixar style, so does the do those companies also get some royalties when you put in like is that a thing
Mhm.
in this thing, or how does the royalties work in open AI?
This is a very great question. So unfortunately, we live in hyper-capitalism. So those companies, they raise a lot of money, they spend a lot of money, and it is ridiculous because I think it's not coming to the right ends. So the clear answer would be there will be no compensation for like it's let's say Studio Ghibli. And there are probably, we don't know exactly, trained on this data, of course. So currently the stage is, unfortunately, those get often not paid. They can for sure fight and take a lawsuit, and then they will probably win because it is so obvious that they use those. Um, but this is the current state. And to the first question, because I think there were two questions, how that actually work, there are there are currently a little assumptions and some clearness of two things. So one thing is it's using grayscale and depth map of those images. So if you think about an photo and then you take just the grayscale of it, you have at least the proper values where the pixels should be belong. So the form would be very close to that. And then they use diffusion for image generation, which means basically you have already a little of image, like the grayscale representation or the depth map, and then it's taking the prompt into consideration. The other novum, what is special here, is that this model, GPT-4, is a multi multimodal, which means it's really understanding different things like text, images, videos, and it can mix it together. So therefore, it understood in this case already a little of this image, knows the depth map or grayscale representation, and using then diffusion to generate the pixels, to arrange the pixels new. So yeah, but also if currently I believe if you're using that, a lot of people painted, for example, like Studio Ghibli and put it on Pinterest. So it is not 100% clear on what it's trained, but it is trained on artist data. This is of course. To give you maybe a little hope in the entire thing is we see a very big, and I will come to that also in my speed run. We have a big open source development, which means there are people who train or create tools for others and make it completely for free, which means you can run that on your computer, on your device, without paying a company a cent and stuff, which is great. Because if you can, I don't know if you even know, but those models like ChatGPT took billions to be there where they are. And now we see that even for, let's say, 100,000, you can train an entire own model. And we saw that now there are many competitors that are close good as those one companies that make a lot of money, but took also a lot of money to be there somehow. So open source is a very interesting answer to copyright questions, because if you think about a value that is maybe one of the most important, in arts and for us humans, it is maybe education. So if I think about, let's go 30 years back, yeah, there was education, and also depends on the place where you are. So better education, maybe more possibilities. Now we have in general, the internet, which is basically education on steroids. So someone who wants to learn something can do that kind of for free if the person has access to internet. If you take now something like ChatGPT and make it offline, so if it's really running like a software on your device, then you have like access to education offline and nearly the education of the entire world, kinda. And yes, it is used from other people, but it is then also accessible for all people that maybe couldn't achieve education. So always when I think about copyright and know that in the capitalistic world, it is super important to have it kind of protected, to see a field which called open source and is doing public work for public domain is giving me a lot of hope. Okay, long answer to your question, but I hope I could answer it properly.
Yes, yes. Thank you. That's interesting to know.
Okay, nice. And if we are talking about the competitors, let's go to competitors of this thing that we saw. So I can really just recommend using LLMs, so those machines that create text for you and can be a very good assistant in talking or creating stuff, your own stuff. But the competitors going also very insane. And one of the biggest is Google for sure. To give you a little historic context, without the open source work of Google, ChatGPT would not be possible, because very big parts of this is what is bringing the magic here in open AI's ChatGPT was previously made by Google AI, and it was released open source. So everyone can take a look, work on it, let's say 8 years ago, or 7 years, I'm not sure. And one company took a lot of advantage back in the day, and that was OpenAI. So, but Google has also, or in the year 2025, very, very powerful tools. And you have free access to mainly everything. So even more access than to ChatGPT. So currently using Google AI products is for students, I think, very useful because you have it basically for free. And I just want to give you an explanation. You have two websites. You have Gemini, which is the model, the language model or the AI model from Google, but you have also this AI Studio, which is basically more like an test field, like a playground. So one very big backslash is, in this AI Studio, you can really play with the modern stuff from Google for free. But the backslash is, your history is not stored, for you at least. So you don't have like this chats that you know from OpenAI, but therefore you have also Gemini. This is the second website, which is basically like a ChatGPT competitor. You have exactly the same chat style. But what is cooler, in the free version of here, you are not that limited. What does it mean? So everything what is very cool in ChatGPT, it would cost you very fast. Like there's ChatGPT 4, but advanced messages, you can maybe ask the ChatGPT for free, I don't know, 20 times a day, and then maybe you get restricted. Generating images, you can do that in ChatGPT for free, but maybe just 3. I don't know how many. It depends on the wind, which is around OpenAI on the day. So the same with the reasoning model and the deep research model. You have it everything very limited. Here in Google, you currently have it way more less restricted. And one very cool thing is something that doesn't work last year pretty well is, hey, I am in, this is, by the way, not true. So I will lie. What is the weather? So this question makes not, okay, this is funny. Okay, I think this is a currently bug because usually, oh, okay, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. The one funny thing is we get now the greatest models, but the tools get sometimes more complicated. Like you have to understand which model can do what to get the right answer. And the same thing was here. I was in the wrong model, so it doesn't had access to internet, so it could not tell me what is the weather. But and I think I don't even need the research button. So it doesn't matter. You can do that yourself and play a lot. Here it's interesting. You have access to internet while using AI. You have this deep research, what I was telling you earlier on ChatGPT. And you can do that. You can use it in here, which really means this AI will work several minutes on your research, on your task. So if you will ask the machine, hey, I'm a design student and I am searching for open calls for design students, just find the 25 for me that are for free, and I'm more in graphical design, so search more for this. This task would take you probably hours, but this is something that like in deep research based on AI can do for you, which is interesting. So in the end, you have like a very brief summary of everything what your research is important about, maybe the contact data, the email, and also what is maybe the requirement. So nowadays you can, with tools like deep research, and you have it in every AI machine the same, you can do very, very complex tasks, which are sometimes even not accessible for you because maybe you don't have the time to write 20 open calls every month. But now you could have an assistant to do so. One development I just want to show you very briefly, ChatGPT tasks and other AIs can do the same. What is interesting on that, we consider today ChatGPT and models like this, like from OpenAI, from Google or whatever, like assistants. And now you could even create tasks with those machines. So getting a reminder from your assistant, kind of, which can be very, very useful if you like, for example, have it not so easy to make a proper schedule about everything. So maybe you know you have to do every Monday of writing, and you do that anyway here in ChatGPT. So maybe ChatGPT should notify you that it's starting now your research for today, for example, for your writing, whatever. So that can be very useful. I just want to close one little thing. I just want to show you in here. Just give me a second because it's actually very cool. All right. What is very, I think you can do that by yourself, but if you go to this Google AI Studio and then you choose the model with image generation, you can do something very funny in here. You can edit images, by talking or writing. And when I was testing this last week, it was not perfect. So maybe I can even find it here. Was it here? No, I think I did that in the playground and therefore it's not stored anymore. But it is super interesting if you try to edit an image by prompt. Like, I just give you an example. It is maybe you on a day scene, and now you want to make it into a night scene. And what you will discover is that it's even considering light and shadows by changing stuff. You could also say, hey, I have a gray hoodie. Please change it into a black one. I don't know. So it is an interesting way what Google introduced 2 weeks ago, I think, editing images by prompts. So it is for free available in this Google Studio. One last thing to end up Google and this large language model of it, they introduced a program. So one tip that I can just share with you is, so long you're a student, just try to get all the cool stuff from all the big companies for free. Write them in email, maybe written by AI, I don't know, to save time, and write them and try get access. And the funny thing is, and the most of tools that I will show you today, later on, you would probably get access for free just because you're a student. And if you say you make research and you are in design, you probably get access for free. And Google has like a program and also showed the world what they believe how we communicate in the future with robots. And actually, I won't go now through the video. If you never saw this presentation from, I think, last week, you should definitely check the video. It will be in our link tree down here, by the way. All link trees from today, it's down there. What is super interesting on that, Google gives us a deep hint how maybe the future looks like. And it is very interesting. If you think about an C8AD program or a 3D printer, often you have to program a little that the little robot, the 3D printer, is understanding what you need. But what is if we put something like ChatGPT, or in this case, Gemini, a large language model, and we can really just talk to the machine and tell the machine what we need. We could also say, hey, I made a 3D model and we need to print it now in 3D. It is in my Google Drive folder, whatever. It's called 3D project 12345. Just do it. And through this gateway, like a large language model, Google demonstrating right now how you can talk to robots, which are then useful for you. I think it is a pretty mind-blowing video. And what is super cool on that, I don't know where, but somewhere on this website, you will find a possibility to sign to their test. I don't know, they have like a fancy name for the group that they give now access to that for free. So it could be very useful. And I think it's mind-blowing to see what AI is used already today, since advancements like ChatGPT, where language is now understandable and get adapted in every field, like in image, in video, in learning, in everything. I have to go back into Google AI Studio again. There is one little cool thing that I believe this tool is very useful currently. And I give you an example for what. It's about education. Let's say you have Photoshop and there's a certain thing that you don't know how to do. and now you need to maybe discover some YouTube tutorials to achieve your goal. And maybe we all know the pain that sometimes we find a very fast answer in Google, in YouTube, and we just need to watch in 5 minutes, 10 minutes video. But sometimes in this video, the answer is not included. So you watched a video maybe of 20 minutes, useless. And then you have to watch and research and again. In Google AI Studio, you can use that as teaching partner, let's say. You can have open up Photoshop. You can give access Google Studio to your desktop view, let's say, and ask questions in Photoshop. You would say, hey, I don't know, I want to grayscale. No one would Google that. I think everyone knows that, but I want to grayscale an image. Don't know how. And what is so interesting on that, it will guide you live in this moment, what to click, what to do, what is the next step. You're going to the next step. The view of Photoshop already changed a little. It will tell you what to do. And I believe now you can learn nearly every software, make every software usable already now completely for free. So I don't want to guide you how to do because it's very simple, but this one it's giving you already the hint. Stream real time. You can ask complex questions about your 3D rendering, about your code live while you are doing it. And I believe this is a very big game changer that I forgot earlier to mention. So now we can close the Google chapter. All right, here is Claude, and Claude is already an very good alternative to ChatGPT, and it can certain things even better than ChatGPT. And I have today a guest, which is in the field of design for print and digital media, and she will tell you a little funny, cool way what she found out about Claude, which is very useful, I believe, in the design field, which was at least mind-blowing for me. So just a little thing to Claude, it can basically do everything what ChatGPT, Google, or the other large language model can do, but certain things better. So Jennifer, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, then I will mute my mic and hand
Yep.
over to you. I will also stop my
Yes,
screen sharing.
I will screen share.
Yes, super great.
I have a use case. For example, what I found out with Claude, for me it was really mind-blowing. I'm working in the design field for 10 years now, and I did never code anything, but I thought, hey, maybe ChatGPT or Claude can help me with code. And last year, I did a website with some page builder, and ChatGPT helped me to make a new code snippet. But it took very long last year. So now I thought, okay, maybe the models are better now. I will test some stuff. I don't think they can, but Claude is very good in this case. I just made a screenshot of 2 Figma files, one mobile and one web file. And I put it in Claude, and I didn't prompt anything. I just said I want a code based on HTML and CSS. And Claude made 3 versions. It optimized himself until it looked like this preview. What was mind-blowing, you see the code, but you also have a preview where you see what Claude coded for you. So this was like, oh my God, I'm a designer. I know HTML, I know CSS, but I'm not a coder. For now, Claude can help me to optimize websites based on page builder. Maybe I could program an app by myself. I don't know. I didn't test it. And then I put the code into CodePen because the preview you see right here, you can't test if it's responsive and are there bugs, or you just see this like a picture. You can scroll, you can test if there are hovers, but I can't put it in the different formats of desktop or mobile. So I put it in CodePen. You can easily put code in there and open it in your browser. And what's crazy, I think, was Claude wanted to generate an image that's based on the screenshots. It's not perfect, it could be better, but I have the code, I can change the picture by myself. Also the fonts that are not the same font as in the screenshot, but I could change the font in the code because that's the basic I understand of HTML and CSS. Then I thought, what can ChatGPT? Because ChatGPT, it's nearly the same than Claude, everybody tells, but ChatGPT didn't generate an image. It's not like my screenshot in the beginning. I think for me as a designer, it's completely different. So I don't want to code the rest in this code of ChatGPT because that is too much code for me as a designer. And yeah, that was really mind-blowing for me because I never thought that now I can code without being a web developer. And I can put the links in the code. You can just check by yourself and test the responsivity. And yeah, that was my mind-blowing thing for, I think it was for the last 2 weeks when I checked this tool out, and it was, oh my God, I can't believe. And I think it even gets better and better. And I'm happy what can I code 1 year later.
Yeah, this is the interesting thing, how those things develop so fast. And what I learned from this thing is, yes, sometimes you have an idea, but then you're struggling to make everything together, and then you make just a smaller version of it. For example, you want to create an app. Yeah, you just write the concept to the app, but you can't create the app itself because it would take a lot of money or people, which is not so easy, right? And now you have really helpful assistants which can guide or help you in certain ways. Like on an educational wise, we were speaking about Google Studio, how to learn maybe software as designer or whatever. Or this example from Jennifer, and for me it was mind-blowing to see how you can adapt designs and put it into other software where it's then usable. So pretty mind-blowing. Jennifer, thank you for this. For real. It was very interesting. All right, I'm sharing again. The screen that was to Claude. We will finish now text, everything what is text around AI. But come to that back when we entering open source. We entering now image generation, and this is ideogram, and I just want to show you a little thing where we are right now, which is not perfectly working, but pretty intense already, I think. So we are at a stage where we can generate by text an image that is
Random, we have a question in
oh,
the
sorry.
chat.
Perfect.
Does the teaching assistant feature of Google work on free/cracked software tools?
I think yes. I would not say no, why not? Like, for example, if you have like a bootleg Photoshop somewhere, there is no question of Google that you're using this. So yeah, I think totally. It's even fascinating how how informations got spreaded and kind of forgotten, but still in the internet. There is a language that it's not a language, it's a tool, I think. It's called Hydra. And Hydra is, I think, Java-based and a toolkit made back in the day from Microsoft, and I think it was open source. It was basically made to make visual live coding. This software got forgotten, but it's still cool. Learning and education around is not easy anymore because the software is not, it's getting no updates anymore for already 10 years or something. But you can make it usable on your MacBook, even it was never made for your new MacBook, and learn it because those AIs know old code, know old software, know maybe differences between an old version of something or a new version of something. So the answer is yes. So that I don't see there should be an issue. Yeah. All right. So here you would see there will be probably some words that are not correct, but just because I put a lot of text into it, I will just show you that. Sorry. Okay. There is a lot of text. So in a case like this, if you use just a little text, it will work perfectly fine. To give you an example, so I was doing that for a client. By the way, this client is your university. And I had to do a lot of graphics, and those work nowadays already perfectly fine with text. And here, Ideogram, unfortunately, it's a paid software. It has free credits for every day, so you can generate every day free images here if you need so. And I think Ideogram is really the best one, which can combine visual representation together with text, of course, which is just for images. Then there is a classic company. So you can like or hate this company. I don't care. It is kind of like with Adobe. People like Adobe or people hate Adobe. There is not much in between. And therefore, it's also with Runway ML. Runway ML is like a sandbox tool where you can use several different AIs in a very good production version. So nothing is perfect, especially with AI videos, but you can create images, videos, have several tools to, do a lot of manipulation on those images and videos. So it's a tool with a lot of tools inside, kind of like Adobe. Speaking about Adobe, there is a tool which is Adobe Express. And maybe some of you know this tool, some maybe not. Some may be using competitor, which would be Canva. And Canva and Adobe Express are basically the same and can do very fast sketch stuff. So sometimes it needs to be very fast. You need to really just adjust a little thing. And I give you like an example for that. Like maybe you created an AI generated image and one little thing is not perfect. And then you maybe want to adjust. And why I'm bringing this up is one, Adobe Express is basically for free. It is for free like every AI software, which is online. It has some restrictions. But for basic use, for fast editing little thing, like putting away the background, AI-based, putting just a little stuff away, generating something new in it, putting some text into, or animating it even very fast, quick, you can do that in Adobe Express basically for free. And I'm bringing that up because we sometimes we maybe forget that something like just editing something away can be nowadays very easy. And those are AI tools. And those getting better and better and getting spreaded across all softwares that are usually without AI are combined with AI. So, and this is one learning for me. Usually you have the issue if you are prompting an image, maybe it's just 90% perfect. For example, I see now there's another mistake there, SpeedRun, it's not really a D. So I could fix that. But instead of generating a new image completely, just because 10% is not correct, I can just edit the 10% out. So, and this is something which makes quick sketching way faster. So this is Adobe Express. It is basically for free. And I think for quick adjusting and quick editing images where you need some little AI magic, perfectly fine. We are still in image generation, but we are entering now the world that I was already mentioning earlier on, open source. So nowadays we have nearly every cool models closed sourced, like as a product from a company, or open source, where you basically can take the code, recreate, duplicate, manipulate, or just use. And a lot of people starting using those machines. And the first image generation open source model was Stable Diffusion. And it's still until today a very good one. But nowadays, there are even more than one open source competitor. We have, for example, Flux. And some people doesn't know Flux, so I thought I mentioned this today. There is a funny backstory behind. The people, the researchers and developers behind Stable Diffusion, they were not happy with the company Stable Diffusion. So they created their own organization. Funny enough, some of them are from Germany, here near Schwarzwald, so in the south. And they created a new open source model, which is very good. It includes even video generation. By the way, I'm just showing you now one way to access Flux. I'm not affiliated with this website. I'm just want to share Flux because it's open source, which means you can get Flux several ways, from Hugging Face, from GitHub, from different fields, and other companies even make products from here. So this is probably just a company which used the open source tool Flux, which is an image generator, and give you access to computational power. Because this is a very big backslash still in using AI on your own device. So the difference would be you don't need to pay money for a company for computation. But the backslash is if you don't have the computational power, you can't use. So like an image generation tool, you can probably use on a MacBook, run it on your MacBook, generate millions of images for free, basically, just the energy consumption. But in video generator, open source, your MacBook might not able to handle it anymore. It needs too much computational power. It is, by the way, the same for ChatGPT or other competitors with those reasoning models or researching models. They take way more energy. So for ChatGPT or other companies, it is way more expensive to give us access to something like a reasoning model, where this model is maybe using a very big graphic card, very, very strong one, but this for maybe minutes, just for you. So this is a very big backslash, which we are confronted with open source. So Flux is something that is very interesting because it's generating very realistic images and it is open source. So if you have a computer that is able to run it, feel free to play with that because it's very, very cool. But for all of those people who may have not a very strong computer around, there is something that called Hugging Face. And Hugging Face is a very, very cool space. So I will go to the main page because I was preparing here something for you. So Hugging Face is the main page, and then you have sections. This is the place to be of open source AI. So if you are researching a the newest model in a certain field, in 3D animation, in, I don't know, whatever field, different fields, you will find it here, and often you can play with it for free. And I will give you a very fast example to that. But just to understand how it works, you can make an account. It is for free. They have also paid options. For an example, you are not happy with the free version that you use, you can run an own machine here inside of Hugging Face without the knowledge of how to install this, how to make it accessible. So it's a handy tool. But we have spaces. And under spaces, you can use all AI models for free that are currently cool or very new. I will not go to all of them because there are thousands. So literally there will be, you see, there are already over 100 pages. So I will not navigate to all of them. We will just go to one. And this is a very cool one. Someone put AI and software together, made in space. And this is from here a cool tool for a certain type of people. What is that? It is a comic factory, AI-based. So basically it is a little small, so I can't make it bigger. But basically you can write a long text or short and generate several pages which are going into the right direction. So it has like a kind of storytelling. It can, what is basically behind, an image generator that takes your text and put it into images. So then a software that puts just the images together, you could do that in Photoshop, but this one is making it completely for you, which is for creative that has maybe nothing to do with image generation, but a lot with writing. Very a cool tool. And spaces like this where AI tools, you will find like a lot on Hugging Face. And what is cool on that, the spaces are there that you can use. But actually, every important model which is open source on the world, on our current world, you will find also here free to download. maybe you saw this number already. Currently, there are stored 1.5 million AI models, which is insane, but often it's also iterations. So maybe someone cloned this, changed just a little thing, put it online again. So, but what is cool, you have free access to that, you can use it, or run it even in Hugging Face directly. So what I can recommend you is going every some months here and check up what is hot, what is new. Yeah, because the world of AI is changing so fast. Maybe the right tool is just created for you and you don't know, and it's for free available. So this is Hugging Face. So all models you will find there. I will put that here to have the right direction.
Random,
Yes.
do you want to check the survey?
No, I think I will do that on
Okay.
the end. But perfect, you. Thank you. Thank you. I should do that way earlier, but now it's just there. Thank you. Okay, we were speaking about open source, and DeepSeek is a Chinese company which kind of shocked the AI world. This is what the headlines are saying. And it is an open source large language model. And what was super cool on that, one, the developers released how many money they spent to generate this entire model. And it was insane cheap in comparison with something like ChatGPT, which took billions. That was very impressive. And what is cool on that, it's open source. So everyone can download it. Even it's a Chinese model, it speaks perfectly fine German, English, a lot of languages. And it's very impressive because they release it just for free. You see the same pattern, like on ChatGPT or Google or Claude. You have already several models that can certain things very good to make it for the client kind of easier to use the right model. So I think it's more complicated nowadays because now you have to choose which model is the best and knowing it. But I think over the time, soon it will change that those models are in one, so you don't need to take a decision. We have also different open source large language model, and it is open source, and it is made by Meta or Facebook. For nearly 1 year, the last year, that was the go-to as open source large language model. You basically, you didn't have like a very good option beside of very small models that were open source, but somehow maybe through mistake or we don't know how it appeared here, it is an open source model that was for free. Now we have something like DeepSeek, but it's going even further. This is when, and it is that another big Asian company, Alibaba, that comes into the AI field and making interesting moves. And making interesting moves like the same with DeepSeek. It is a model that is trained and released open source. When it's also a model that is released open source, but for video generation. And this is something, this is now some weeks old. In theory, you could download it and generate impressive videos. Let's check some of those so impressive videos. Okay, there is another one. I don't know, let's go with this one. This is funny. And in a cat. Let's end with the cat. So there is a big backslash. Video models really need resources. So they released certain models, like a small one and a big one. And the big one is, of course, not accessible for all us because we don't have the computational power. But the smaller are open source. And what is cool on that, we see an interesting, let's say, an interesting, how to describe it in human words. It is not a fight, but an answer to and response. Maybe those things are good responses, where we saw a world where you have like something like ChatGPT, OpenAI, a global player with a lot of dominance, and they created a model called Sora, which is ridiculous good in video generation. What? Too many questions here. But it's not open source, and it's highly restricted how you can use Sora. So, and then you have like the Chinese answer where Alibaba decided, hey, you know what? We trained also a video model and we make it just open source. Everyone can use it and make it even better, which is a very, very interesting concept because of course, most of users currently can't use it. They need some computational power, and probably Alibaba is also providing computational power for you, where you can use their machine on their clouds. But it is very interesting to see that we saw closed source companies that are trying to create very great products, probably trained on data which doesn't belong to them, try to make now big money. And we have this counter world, open source, where it got made public, so everyone can use it, and those models are currently kind of same good, which is very interesting to see, where we doesn't get just dominated by some global player. Let's just jump a little back to Adobe. Adobe, for example, was for a very long time in different fields a very big global player, and not a lot of beside. And this is a very strong market dominance, so they could dictate the prices and everything. And now we enter a field where we get more and more open source models which we can use. Okay, so speaking about video AI models, there are commercial AI models too, beside of this Sora stuff or this Wen. And those videos are getting insanely good, I believe. From months to months, they're getting better and better. And I just hovered through. This is weird, but this is kind of cool. Yeah, that could be a clip for maybe vaccine. Nice. Oh, some kissing people are always nice. All right. They're getting better and better. I would just share quickly some of them which I tested and are actually good. Just the backslash is that you can't create tons of videos for free. Often you can generate 1 or 3 videos per day for free. This is like a typical theme of those AI companies. So this is an Asian one, very good. This is an American one, also very good, Luma Labs. All links are in the link tree, so you doesn't need to check them. Kling AI, also in Chinese version. I think it was a Chinese one. I'm not 100% sure. Could be also. I'm not sure 100%. It is one of my absolute favorites because it let you do a lot of stuff. So you have a lot of control into the actual creation part, which is very, very good. So there are many of them, and often they have the same models running behind, create like just a product behind, sell you the computation and the interface. Most of the models are even open source. For example, every image generator, nearly everyone, beside of something like ChatGPT's image generator, are based on stable diffusion of flux. So they use open source software to, for example, make a product from here, which is also very interesting. All right, we will jump, because we don't have too much time from here, right to the next scene. It has not much to do with design, but I think it is just good to have it in mind. Nowadays, sometimes you can do something very good and something maybe very bad. And then it's restricting you in going for greatness, whatever greatness means. And one thing is, for example, some people doesn't like to talk in front of a camera. Some people doesn't like their own voice. Some people can do this easy. Some people can do that easy. But what we know is that social media is helping us to spreading our own whatever we are spreading here. 11 Labs is like an voice cloner or a text-to-speech software. We have also open source variations, but I just show you, let's say, the best one, which is currently in the field, and it would be open 11 Labs. 11 Labs lets you creating uh, your text into sound, or into voice, which is working very good. And if you think about, hey, I'm not good in talking in front of a camera or using my voice, okay, maybe it's easier to just clone my voice and write a text, and then I can create even a video from here because I have now voice. So there are so many ways. In Germany, we say there are many ways to go to Rome or Roma, which means, yeah, of course, there's not one direction to maybe your goal. And nowadays, we have a lot of sub-directions. Yeah, exactly. We have an open source voice generator, which you can use on your computer if your device is strong enough. And then again, this is something where you can put away power of something, let's say AI giant companies that steals your data, and just be freely on your own device, but being not restricted on what you're generating. So you see in nearly every field, we have already open source answers. So if you need something a lot, you could have it. Voice is something, but another thing is of course music. And I won't make now a song, but I think you can create a song for free, of course, if you like. Suno AI is known to create interesting music, and it's actually really not that bad. If you never heard AI music, maybe it could blow your mind. So be creative and try if you like. This is in development what we see in nearly every field, where creative tools getting like somehow a touch of AI too, so they're getting just better. And Suno is very interesting in creating music, even if you are not good in music, but unfortunately you need some music. So in all of that, I see we are getting a little more independent if we need. So if we can collaborate, we can now collaborate better than ever before. Better than ever before, sorry. But if we haven't access to brainstorm partners or assistants, like you're not so good in digital, in editing images digital, yeah, cool, you can do that by AI. So I think AI is spreading creativity, and if you are using it right, it can really spread your creativity too. All right. We have like half hour, and I would leave some space to have like questions, and maybe we'll find a theme where we should go deeper in. The only thing is I would like to just go a little into our form that we shared, which I should do in the beginning, but I think it is now a good moment to do so. So it was very basic questions. I think there were like nothing crazy. Do you use AI? And we see yes. So there was not even one who is currently not using AI. Interesting, because the numbers getting higher over the years, and I'm doing education in AI since 5 years, so it's increasing a lot. 100% is maybe the first time that I got. How often? Let's see, from time to time, daily, never. Okay, interesting. The daily factor is already also pretty big, I think. I would say 60% is already pretty big. Interesting. Adobe Cloud, very interesting theme, because we know that some designers and artists are fighting for their rights, and some very not strong people like me are still using Adobe. Okay, I lost the poll. Here it is. Very interesting. So no is bigger. I think some years ago it would be exactly the opposite. Very interesting. Okay. Still 10% not. I would, oh, now I would have so much follow-up questions to that. I would asking myself why, because there could be so many valid answers why those people, oh no, it's one. Oh yeah, it makes sense. One person, and yeah, okay, I'm sorry. Interesting, interesting. So maybe we could convince the person today to play a little with AI and generate an image or editing on. Because here's a funny thing, I believe the total number is 100%. Because we say generated, but it is misleading. If you use a modern phone, like an iPhone, the image is already generated. There is so much software and AI software in between, so it is actually generated, funny enough. Are you able to create graphic with coding? Yes, no, and yes is smaller. Okay, interesting. Maybe you saw today, indeed you are. You are able to create graphics and visuals and many stuff, even websites, with coding, even without knowing code. So actually, but interesting, interesting. Very interesting. Okay, strong. You're strong. This is tough. This is tough. Okay. Here also one little thing. I believe if you are good in something and you use AI, you're just more stronger. If someone is not able to write a little code or understanding a little code, for this person it will be a little more difficult to use AI to write HTML code. A little at least. So very interesting. Not useless. Interesting. Oh, so there are some people that used AI to generate maybe an image, and some people to use text. Very interesting. Very interesting. Not really, yes. So yes, there is someone scared. Me too. Me too. But I'm also not really scared, and I'm also a bit scared too. So there is a spectrum. Okay. Very, very, very interesting. All right. So I think we went through very fast through this little speed run here in creative tools and tools who can maybe help you a little in productivity in different fields. And yeah, if you have any questions, you can also hit me up on Instagram always. I will maybe end up with a new phenomena, which is maybe matching the end of our session. So I will again share my screen. There is a thing that appeared the last weeks, let's say, and this is this term. So vibe coding, and it is so new. really some weeks, and it has even a Wikipedia article. And this is something that we discovered the last weeks. And I think this will change entirely a lot faster. Whatever it is, I think it's just spreading evolution faster. What is actually vibe coding? So I will just try to explain it brief in my words. Vibe coding is like a way how you work in a team, and you can work independent on your goal or on the, I don't know, group goal. And now you use those machines that could empower us in a group together. And this is vibe coding. So you have maybe a goal. The people around you know the goal. They have maybe the same goal or another, but you are in a session together and you are working, kind of together beside. What we saw from here, that really some people who are not able to code created entire video games or website services or any other dream app, whatever. Because what we saw is your knowledge is different than mine in every field, but the combined power of humans together with those machines, with a goal, which we in the end call vibe coding nowadays, is empowering a lot of people, because now they have like a creative way to express themselves in fields which they maybe never could enter before. So, and with vibe coding, I will leave you today alone. So thank you again for being here and being this kind. And so it was really a nice pleasure for me.
Thank you so much.